Hey, JJ, Rui said in the walk-off that basically LeBron said he was going to get him the ball, or to, I don't know exactly the words, but to find him. And what was your sense of that play and just seeing it unfold? And as the attention goes to Austin, LeBron gets the ball at the top of the key and how it played out?
Yeah, just felt like in that situation for us tonight, we had the group on the floor that we wanted. Shot clock was off. You know, I didn't feel the need to call a timeout, and knowing that, you know, trust AR with the ball, trust LeBron as a decision maker. And, you know, they went to fire, and, you know, I think it's January 5th, 2007, a streak of whatever it is, 1,297 games. LeBron is acutely aware of how many points he has, you know, at that point, and like he's done so many times in his career. And I remember him getting ridiculed for it early on when he would make the right play and his teammate would shoot the game winner. He did it like he's done so many times, and you know, just knew it was good as soon as it left Rui's hands, and just a big time play, very, very much reflective of the resilience we had tonight on the road, shorthanded, and thought our guys did a really good job of just managing the game. We managed their runs. We managed momentum swings on the road. We managed some tough breaks, I thought, in terms of some calls. You know, they were consistent both ways, but sometimes, you know, on those momentum changing plays, it can hurt you. And I thought our team just kept the resolve and resilience to win on the road.
You mentioned LeBron's streak. Is there some sort of, you know, basketball gods thing in there where, you know, he passes up the ball and Rui actually hits the shot in the game?
For sure. That's what we talked about in the locker room. The basketball gods, if you do it the right way, they tend to reward you.
You mentioned it, kind of going back to the streak. He's acutely aware of how many points, not just his career, but what does that say about, like, LeBron at this point of his career making that sacrifice when, you know, he doesn't know how many games he has left. He could continue to streak until the end, but in that position, he makes the right play.
Yeah, I mean, I think it shows a level of trust in his teammates. And I thought one of the big parts of that play, once they fired on AR, was him stampeding that pass, which I think scrambled the defense even further than it was, and it just allowed Rui all the time in the world to take that shot.
JJ, you said LeBron was acutely aware of how many points he's had. How many times?
He was acutely aware of everything.
How many times have you been?
He's LeBron. He knows everything.
How acutely aware have you been as his coach of this streak in the back of your mind in the situations when he's had 8 points, and I guess for it to end like this?
Yeah, it pops up every now and then when he like the other night against Phoenix, where he ends up with 10 or whatever it was. I think we had one game last year. It's really McMenamin that keeps bringing it up.
Coach, at this point,
He's so mad. He's not going to be very happy about this. What was? Did you see LeBron's react? Well, you had a quick interaction with him.
Oh yeah, just joy. I mean, just seeing really run across the court with the whole team. I mean, the group was connected tonight. It was a fun night to compete together, and you know, I've seen that kind of expression on LeBron's face of intensity, and you know, it's to do that when a teammate hits a shot is pretty awesome.
Coach, yeah, as for Rui Hachimura, I mean, he has grown so much. What was the first impression that you had about him in the first conversation that you had with him? The thing that stood out to you the most about him?
Just about the conversation, or as a player?
Any conversation that you had, or something that
Yeah, I mean, he was coming off 23, 24 career high in 3-point percentage, and it was an outlier relative to the rest of, you know, his career in terms of being significantly above 40%. And remember Bo Levesque, who's his player development coach, during our summer meetings in August, Bo had gotten to work out with him a few times, and I think there was some questions around whether or not he was a true laser. And he's a laser, and we found that out very quickly. And just I have so much belief when he gets his feet set and gets his legs underneath him that the shot's going in. Yep.
All right, LeBron, asked JJ if there was kind of some element to the basketball gods there in those final seconds, streak and all that, but you got a better pass. Rui's open in the corner. He ends up hitting the shot. Can you just take us through that sequence and how it results?
Just playing the game the right way. You always make the right play. That's just been my MO. That's how I was taught the game. I've done that my whole career. There's not even 1 second guessing that. Once they doubled AR and the ball got swung to me, I know it's a numbers game. We got a 4-on-3 advantage, and I was just trying to put the ball on time, on target, and right in Rui's socket in his shot pocket, and he knocked it down.
So you get the stop on the other end, no timeout, but Rui said in the walk-off that you communicated to him at some point. I don't know if you said, hey, I'm going to get you or get you the ball, or you get to it. What did you communicate? How did you do it in that amount of time with no timeout, no stop?
To put him in a payoff spot, I looked over at their bench, and obviously we didn't want to call timeout. We had a good flow. AR been cooking all night, and, I started seeing our coach kind of, telling, Scotty Barnes to possibly double. So I wanted to keep Rui on the same side to be my payoff spot.
Obviously, it paid off big time with the Rui 3. I know that's been much time since the game ended, but now that the streak has ended for you, what feelings did you have, if any, about it?
None. We won.
The general kind of offensive flow for you in the game when it came to getting your shot and stuff like that. How did it feel out there? A couple of the early misses were pretty uncharacteristically.
Yeah. I'm still getting in a rhythm. This is my sixth game. Like I said, it's obviously well documented. I've never missed a whole training camp in a whole preseason before, and then let alone miss the first 14 games of the regular. So I'm still, figuring my rhythm, figuring out, everything as far as offensively. Knowing I can still make an impact on the floor when I'm out there, but, still trying to fill it out.
You're 2-0 in the last 2 games. You haven't scored 10 points.
I won't make that a habit, though. But, listen, man, you guys know, the guys have been around me for 8 years. This is my 8th year here. I've been covering my career. I'll just make the right play. That's all that matters. Win, lose, or draw. You make the right play. The game guys will always giving back to me, no matter if it was a win or loss or whatever. That's just how I was raised, and that's how I always play the game.
JJ was saying that he remembers earlier in the career when you would get criticized, right, for making that pass instead of taking the shot. And I guess that collectively basketball has advanced some. You probably won't get a lot of critique for making that pass, but have you seen that evolution of it? And can you kind of remember back to those times and just sticking with what you know about this is the way you play basketball?
Yeah, of course. Of course I remember. I remember everything that's been negatively said about me in my game throughout my career. And it was always, that aspect was always one of the most foolish things I've ever heard as far as making the right pass, making the right play. We are in the business of winning basketball games, and so, my whole life I've just played the game that way. I've taught the game that way. And I've won at every single level I've played at by playing the game that way. So there was no reason for me to ever change. Once I got to this level, it doesn't change. Basketball is basketball.
I saw you before the game embrace Brandon. I was just curious if how you feel about him kind of finally, settling into a spot here and playing as well as he's been playing.
B.I.'s unbelievable talent. I had him my first year in L.A. obviously, and he was a young stud then. But as much seasoned vet now, super mature now. His game is mature. He's gotten better and better, and I love to see him thrive. All the guys that I played with, especially my first year, I love seeing him. Caruso, Zoe, Josh Hart. Zubek, all the guys. Just to name a few of them. These guys are. It's great to see them play the game the right way and they've been balling.
You've talked about this before. The fans in Toronto, you've talked about this before, but it sounded like half the stadium was cheering for you.
They're amazing. I love it. I don't know how many games I have left here in this building, but these fans are unbelievable. This city is unbelievable. Always welcome me with open arms. Either if I was coming here to play a basketball game or just coming here to visit. I've always loved and appreciate the fans' support here, man. They're one of a kind for sure.
You've obviously been a supporter of Austin, but even for you, has it surprised you at all that he's been able to carry like this usage and to produce this way and be this efficient at this usage, or is it kind of what you expected of him?
It's not surprising me. I've seen it since day one when we got him. I saw the talent, and when talent meets hard work and preparation, then I don't think there's any stopping, an individual that puts the work in. Once you have the talent, we're in the NBA, everyone has talent, but in order to be consistent, you got to put the work in, and he's done that. So I'm not surprised. I'm super happy for him. Appreciate it. Yep.
All right, Austin, that last sequence, first of all, so you get the stop, and LeBron said that you kind of expected what was going to happen. They were probably going to fire on you, and he had kind of guided Rui to a certain spot. Can you take us through from your perspective when to get rid of the ball, and then just watching LeBron kind of make that decision, even with the whole knowing that the double-digit thing to the extent that he cared about it, if at all?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna throw myself under the bus here. We got the rebound. I think Bron tossed it to me, and I'm dribbling it up the court. I thought we were down one, and he was like one shot, and in my head I'm like, what? Like, we're down one, and I looked up and it was 120 to 120. So that's bad game awareness for myself. But as I'm dribbling over on the right side, I hear their coach telling Scotty to fire or whatever they call it. I knew the whole time I was going to take a couple dribbles baseline. They're known to double from when you turn your back. So just trying to get Bron the ball in a situation that he's been in a million times. And for all the people that's killed him his whole career for making the right play. If he shot that one, they would have said to pass it. If he passes it, they're going to say to shoot it. So, you tip your hat to a guy that just cares about winning and making the right play. And that's what he's done his whole career. So, thankful for him. Obviously the 10-point streak ends, but I guarantee if you ask him, winning's more important than points.
You had the buzzer beater at Minnesota, obviously a team-building moment tonight. It's Rui. What are those moments like in this time for you getting to celebrate a teammate?
Oh, it was awesome. I think I almost put him in a chokehold. Those are pure joy moments. We spend all year together basically as a team, and you care for one another on a deeper level than just friends or whatever it is. You like I said, you're with each other 24/7, and to see someone like that succeed, anyone on our team is very cool. And he came in here and he was like, bro, that was crazy. Like, he was like, I knew before when the play started, he was like, I had a feeling the ball was going to come to me. So he was ready. It looked good off his hand, and thankfully made it.
And you're averaging over 40 in the 4 games you played without Luka. What kind of text do you expect to get about that?
Luke, I don't know if he might be asleep right now. I don't know, Luka, please hurry back. Miss you, my brother.
When LeBron he's always said, like, I always want to make the right play, I'll always pass. What kind of tone does that set for his teammates, people who play around? How contagious is that kind of, like, mindset?
Yeah, when you have the greatest player in the world, or the greatest player to ever touch a basketball, willing to sacrifice and make the right play every single time, or, none of us are perfect. Obviously he's going to make, bad mistakes. Everybody in the room is going to make bad mistakes, but it's not off of trying to. Everything he does is pure. And, when you have someone like that, everybody's got to fall in line. If you don't fall in line, you look... Y'all heard him. When you don't fall in line with someone like that, then you look crazy. So you tip your hat to a guy like that.
Yeah. Well, what did go through your mind when you saw like the Rui Hachimura shot like going in?
Yeah, I was in the corner, so I had the perfect vision of the shot, and I went to go crash, but the shot looked so good. I was like, oh, he made it. So I was like, we're good. And then obviously it went in, and just a big time shot by him and a big time play by Bron.
Jake, obviously you guys know that LeBron has a streak of hitting double digits. Were you guys trying to help him get to that 10-digit mark?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're ever consciously aware of that, and he's such an unselfish player to where I think, he's just playing the game of basketball. And again, he had the opportunity to do that, but because of the player he is, and just who he is as a person, made the unselfish play, pass it to Rui, and, we won the game.
Rui, you told me on the court that LeBron had kind of told you that something was coming your way. It couldn't have been much time, right, for that interaction. Was it after the stop, in transition? Was it just kind of what literally was the quick conversation that let you know to be ready and where to be?
No, it was a timeout. Yeah. So I think it was we are going back and forth. So he said he's going to come to me. Just be ready. And then it's just really the last shot. Last position. I think their head coach. I saw that they were trying to double team AR. They were trying to give a sign. So I knew it was going to really come to me. So I was just ready. I was ready, and Braun gave me the right pass to me. So I just shot that.
You were one of the first to get to Austin when he hit the buzzer beater in Minneapolis. I remember, what was it like being on the other end of that?
I know, it felt crazy. I think I never had a buzzer beater like that. So it's just it's like one of those situation play that every basketball player dreams. So it was a great feeling.
Did Austin almost put you in kind of a headlock?
Man, I don't know what I was doing. I was just trying to run away from everybody. Trying to run around the cold. But it was good. It was fun.
As a kid who grew up in Japan, you started in basketball, watching Slam Dunk. Now you see yourself hitting a game winner with the Lakers uniform. Do you feel that the Slam Dunk dream came true?
Yeah, for sure. It's just like I say. It's like one of those things that every basketball player's dream. And especially like this NBA. Play for Lakers. Get a pass from Braun, that's the crazy things. But I think those are coming from our chemistry and everything that we've been building. And that was a tough game for us, but we got this dub, so it was good.
You told me a few months ago that you identify yourself with Takenori Akagi. He was a player with a lot of courage. I don't know if you remember any moment in the cartoons that inspired you for your NBA journey.
I mean, it's just growing up there in Japan. That's the slam dunk is one of the biggest things over there, and I think we watched growing up. Of course, as a basketball player, we watched it over there, and just kind of stuff we always talk about. We I don't what kind of players you are and adult and that. So that's where it came from.
You guys, as a team, have tried to get LeBron that 10th point a handful of times.
No, me, I don't have a vote, That's it.
I guess not only obviously to get the pass then, but to get the pass under those circumstances. What does that say about the way he plays basketball?
No, he just make the right play. That's what he been doing his whole career. He just let the game come to him. He never forced anything. I think he made a big layup. It was a fourth quarter, right? It was the last 2 minutes. But I think for him to lose this streak, of course, probably he think about it, but at the same time, it's crazy. It's since 2007, right? That's insane. That's actually, I don't even know how to describe that. He probably been doing this for a long time, of course, but that streak is, I don't think, never gonna beat it by anybody. So he would
have gotten the 2 points in overtime, probably.
I didn't think that. That's a crazy. That's a crazy. that's a crazy point. I didn't even think that. It's like give it he gave up something to get something. So but he's literally the god. So basketball. So and especially I can see they love him here. When he get in the game. Everything what he does, people love him here. So it was a great dub.
You guys have won games without you guys have won games now again without Luka. What does it say about where this team is at? That again missing such a big piece of what you did. That Austin gets 40. Both LeBron and him both have 11 assists. You're able to hit a big shot. Just the way you guys are able to win.
Yeah, somebody got to step up. I think especially these guys. Our starting lineup. Everybody can score. That we know that. But I think those guys. Of course. But I think most of that our chemistry, start with the JJ. He been doing really good job about talk about always the chemistry. How team, how we play. Those kind of stuff helping us. So we just gotta always stick together and then play for each other, and then we're gonna get that one no matter what who's on the court.
Rui, you're one of the longest tenure players here, I think, along with LeBron and Austin and Vando. You've worked out with LeBron and Summers. How have you felt the trust or his trust in you build across the seasons you guys have played together?
Yeah, it's just like, coming from everything, those big games like this, the big moments, the playoff. We played so many playoffs with him, together, the practice, and even off the court, just being around with him, just he I can see that he trusts me, all those kind of stuff. But I think, those guys, especially with us, Austin, Vando, me, Braun, we've been playing for a long time, pretty much. So, yeah, I think we have all this chemistry going on, and then these new guys came in, and, they've been great with us, too. So, yeah, I think those chemistry is very important for this, basketball. So, and we just got to keep building that.
When you have someone like LeBron who always says, I'm going to make the right play no matter what, how does that kind of set a tone? How does that inspire you as a teammate to kind of also play the want to play the same kind of style as he does?
I mean, that's why he's a winner, He make the right play, and, he don't force, he don't do nothing crazy, I think that's the way that, that's why he been winning, since he got in the league or whatever, So I think those kind of stuff for us younger guys, we watch him closely and we learn from him every day. So yeah, it's a great thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.